Welcome back to the On Deck Circle podcast brought to you by the Fantasy Six Pack. I am your basketball jersey wearing host, Nick Zaniboni, and I'm also here with my very good friend, Handsome, today in the retro-ish Royals hat. I'm a big fan of that. I bought that, I think, maybe like sophomore or junior year of high school when I everything, and I probably wore like a royal blue like thermal with like a baby blue under t-shirt, and that was just my look throughout high school. So that was a real throwback for me. So thank you for wearing that, because I'm back in my earring wearing days.
Yeah.
Definitely. I have not worn earrings in a very long time, but maybe I'll bring them back. Maybe like no, I don't. My holes are probably closed.
Yeah, that's a fun fact because I was very much a two earring, and eyebrow ring.
Oh, I once had a girl say you need to get your eyebrow pierced, and there was like, do you know that point in time in high school when you're like, I'll do anything just to like.
Oh, yeah.
So there was a not like 5 seconds that I was like, should I? Like, she said she'd be into it, but I did not. So, I mean, what could have been? Who knows?
Yeah.
Anyway, she's not.
We digress.
So, I guess we'll start with on my favorite. My favorite portion of the show is the cold open question of the week. And Jason, this one is a little boring. However, it's mostly just because it's something that I want to talk about after I hear your answer. What was the last movie you've seen in a movie theater without children? Ready, set, go. All right, Jason, let me hear.
First off, Casey hat is directly bought in person at Kauffman Stadium.
Oh, that's even better.
Not recently, but it was from maybe like 10 years ago when I went to Kansas City. I went to Kauffman Stadium.
When you were a kid, not a kid, in like high school, did you wear your hats in the shower so they would fit better?
No, I just bought fitted hats that just fit my head.
Yeah, so I had a large head. So I would buy 7 3/8, right?
Hey, that's what I wear.
Okay. And I wear it in the shower. So one, I can like mold the brim a little bit.
Yeah.
And then it would just like sit like it'd be perfect.
Now I just have visions of Nick in the shower wearing a hat as a high schooler.
That's all I'm wearing. It's just that. Yo, I swear it works, and I was not the only person that did it, but I just needed to know if that was a thing for you, and it's not.
Gotcha.
So anyway, what's the movie?
All right. Honestly, I didn't think about it for a second. I thought it was a really long time ago, just because we're not huge moviegoers.
Okay.
But it came to my memory that we did go. I don't know. This would have been probably 2019, maybe.
Oh
yeah. Well, my kids were born in 2014 and 16, so that goes to show you how long I've been to a movie without kids. I've probably been to one movie without kids, and it was The Joker with Joaquin Phoenix.
The new one's coming out soon.
Yeah, and I had my doubts. I kept saying it's a musical, and I saw the trailer, and it's every bit of going to be a musical, but
it looks good.
It looks like a pretty good. Now, I'm not a musical guy. I think musicals are the dumbest movie ever. Save the musicals for Broadway, but it actually looks pretty good. So yeah, that would be the last movie I saw in theaters. Would be The Joker, starring Joaquin Phoenix.
So my wife and I, big movie goers, we try and go to at least like one a month.
Nice.
And we recently saw the new Ryan Gosling movie, the
Fallback guy or Fallout guy.
Yep, but we saw it fucking twice.
Oh shit! Okay.
It was so good. It's like there's a rom-com. I'm a sucker for any type of rom-com. But also it was action-packed. So it really was a thing for everybody. So I went with my wife, and then we brought my mom and grandpa for Mother's Day. So
nice. Good movie?
Very good. Favorite movie I've seen. It's so hard because like they're like Oppenheimer, very good movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not gonna watch that again. This movie I could see myself watching like for the like one of those movies. If it's on TV, I'll put it on every time.
You know, just real quick tangent. Talking about movies. One thing I've been doing lately has been going back and revisiting like super old, like 90s, late 80s, early 90s, like action movies.
Okay.
That I haven't seen probably since the late 90s, early 90s. And most notably, rewatched Total Recall starring Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I've never seen it.
I recommend it. It's one of those movies like I remember being really good back then. It's obviously doesn't hold quite as good because obviously CGI was not around back then and stuff like that. But yeah, quick. That was just my movie note. I watched that on like Monday or something. I forgot, but that was my off topic movie thing right there. All right. Well, this week we're gonna talk about some trade targets that you can be making in your leagues. But before we do that, let's get into a little bit of business aspect of things here. Do you want to get access to the most accurate fantasy baseball rankings according to Fantasy Pros? We also can give you DFS betting projections. We got a Discord where you can get custom league advice, any custom questions that you might have on your team, maybe some trades that you have pending, or come on, drop down to our Discord and check it out. We always, we got guys in there like, oh, would you trade this? Would you do this trade? Do that like that? In order to get access to that Discord and everything else that I'm talking about here, you got to become an all access member. And you can do that by going over to fantasy6pack.net/plans. Become a member today. Now, I said we're going to talk about trade targets, but this is also a little bit of a baseball show that kind of sways its way, dips into the fantasy side. And I thought you brought up a good topic here. Start off with a little bit of the news section. And I'm going to pose this question, and more of a topic than a question. I mean, a question more of a topic, and that is Jack Leiter a bust? We've seen him now, make 3 starts, I believe. Yep, 3 starts.
3, and his ERA 16.
His ERA is almost 16.5. His WHIP is 2.57. He does have 7 strikeouts in 9 innings. However, that's about all you can talk about as good as the strikeouts are still there, because everything else has been pretty bad. Right now, I think the farthest he's gone in any of the games is 4 innings.
And that was I think that was the debut too.
The debut was a 4-inning start. But yeah, I pull up the Savant picture here right now. Right now, the only thing that looks good right now on his is his fastball velocity, and even that is only 77th percentile. He's been really bad. And then the biggest thing with him is coming out of Vanderbilt. Him and Kumar Rocker were like the 1-2 at the top of that rotation. And the biggest thing with him in college was his fastball. His fastball was what, propelled him to the top of the draft. And right now, when you come to the majors and you're facing major league hitters, and even in the minors, he was not doing very well. Because now we're getting to a point, you get into this level of competition where the fastballs cannot get you by. You need to have good secondary pitches. He does not have any of those good secondary pitches. His fastball is very hittable. It doesn't have a lot of run on it. He is just I'm here to say that unfortunately I think he is a bust. And a bust in the sense that there's no such thing as a pitching prospect, but when you compare it to his draft capital that the Rangers spent on him, and his pedigree and the expectations that him coming out of Vanderbilt, I know I'm in a Dynasty auction, and I spent a ton of my rookie Dynasty budget on Jack Leiter coming out of college a couple years ago.
That's your own fault, Jason.
This is my own fault, but I'm saying
you are a lover scorned.
Yes, absolutely. But he is persuade me otherwise if you can.
I just traded for him. Maybe after, I think it was after a second start, actually. So it was one bad start. I traded Matt Chapman, which is fine. Like, I don't care about Matt Chapman, which shows where Leiter is right now as a value. So how old is he? He's 24. He's had
Yep.
three starts. Hasn't really. I wish he got like a cupcake of a matchup. Feel like he's faced 3 like decent teams. I know it was Cleveland last night. I can't tell you who the other 2 teams were, but it's my big thing is, especially with the Rangers, put him in the bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
Make him an elite closer because I think he can legitimately be that. What the fuck was that? Sorry, there was a weird noise.
No worries.
He can be an elite closer. I genuinely believe that, and I think that, and like the Rangers are looking for that guy. They don't. I mean, they have Robertson. He's been good, but he's practically like 40. Like, so put him in the bullpen now in the majors. Have him get those reps in. Use that fastball because that's where the fastball plays the most, and that's where he is. That's his quote unquote strength. So just let him be in the bullpen and slowly grow into the high leverage pieces. And yes, that would be a bust for a top 5 pick,
2nd overall pick.
Yeah, top 2 pick in a draft. But if you're the Rangers, you're going to use him that in a way that's going to help you. So he's very lucky to be in an organization that is good right now. But like if he was in like the Marlins, and they just kept, which is funny because that's where his dad pitched. But you just like he's not a starter, and that's fine with me. But if he was on a team like the Marlins that are like desperate for like anything that works,
yeah,
then he'd be in trouble. But being in a smart win now organization, I think a transition to the bullpen would, 1, make sense, and 2, I think he would flourish there.
No, I think you make a good point. This is a 24-year-old who went to college and was a starter in college, but I think moving him to the bullpen will not only allow him to get to that experience against major league hitting, but yeah, he could also find his permanent role in the bullpen. Because I don't think, I mean, if you can't even make it through, 1 time through, maybe twice through an order, you have no chance of being a starter in this league. So I think getting him to that bullpen is a really good time because you're basically running out of time with him. I mean, obviously 24 is still young in terms of pitchers and stuff like that, but at some point you can't have him just middling down in the minors. You got to get him up in the major league, get him facing major league hitters.
He did face the A's, so
yes. And I think
that point.
Wasn't it Detroit too?
Yeah.
Didn't he make his debut against Detroit?
Yeah, which was, so the A's was the 4-inning one. Okay. Yeah, he sucks. Just put him in the bullpen.
All right, so that's our it's to be seen more on what the Leiter, but I think at this point they've given him a couple opportunities to start, get him back up in the majors, and get him in the bullpen and see what he can do because he has the velocity that's sought after in a bullpen role. So let's hopefully maybe he can kind of figure it out there. All right, so let's get over now to some of our trade targets here we have going. I think there's a little bit more of like dynasty aspect of trades more than because we're gonna give you like we do with most things on the show. We're gonna give you 1 hitter, 1 arm, 1 prospect. We'll start with the hitters first because that's the sexy positions. I'll have you start off the show. Your target first, and we'll talk about your guy first.
Yeah, my guy Bryson Stott, man, he is just. I don't want to. I hear the word enigma a lot in life. Never fully understood it. So I'm just going to say he's an enigma in my fantasy life. And he's just like, I'll look at his stats and be like, oh, he's not like doing well. But then you really look at his stats and he's doing great. Like right now, he's batting .281 with an OBP of .385. About 2 weeks ago, that was like cut in half. So we're really at that point of the year again where it's like one good week. I feel like we spoke about this last week. I forget about who, but you're one good week from being a top player in a playable player in a league. So he is slightly older than I really thought because he is one of those college players. But being 26 obviously is not bad. But look at this. The Savant page is bleeding red, other than the bat speed, which actually is somewhat concerning to me. But you know what? Just be that. You don't have to hit a bunch of homers. You just need to do your job. Not like he's not Dustin Pedroia, But like he could, like that's the type of player he is. He could be that slap guy. He's not going to hit you 40 bombs, but that's fine. He's a good player, and I think he's being undervalued in lots of places. Yeah, where are you at on Stott? I do love just the second base and shortstop as well.
Yeah, no, I do like him. I think, last year he had a really big coming out party. He had the 31 stolen bases and 15 home runs. That plays all day. He's in a pretty stacked lineup in Philadelphia. He's really supplanted himself in the in that second base role. I think I don't know if we can see anything more than what we saw last year. I think that maybe 20-30, but already this year
really is peak. I don't know.
Yeah, 15. I mean, hey, I'll take 15-30 out of my second baseman with almost a 400 OBP, especially in an OBP league and roto leagues. I'll take this all day. I don't, I get your power from some other places, but hey, even 15 home runs out of a second baseman. But yeah, the 31 stolen bases. Right now, he's got almost a 400 OBP. That obviously regressed a little bit as the season goes on, but I'm all in on Bryson Stott. I think it's a great, I don't know about it's not a buy low, but it's one of those guys that like most people probably have him as like a role bench, like a role player on their team.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's really holding tightly onto Bryson Stott. So I think the trade availability is there on a Bryson Stott. And yeah, I'm all in on Bryson Stott for sure.
So I have a question for you. Niko Hoerner or Bryson Stott? Or is that just the Spider-Man meme of them
pointing at each other? Yeah, I think a little bit of both. We had a little topic, we got another segment coming up here in a little bit, and I almost thought about bringing up Niko Hoerner in that segment, but he's been, I think last year is kind of what we're going to, that might be peak Niko, the 30 stolen bases. I didn't even think he was even going to get to 30 stolen bases. Obviously the new rules have helped the stolen base totals go up. But yeah, there might be Spider-Man meme pointing back at each other between him and Bryson Stott, but I think I like Niko's a tick better just on the plate discipline.
It's because he wears blue, and that's fine.
Yeah, maybe that's why. No, but again, yeah, that's a good point. It's very much Spider-Man meme between Bryson Stott and Niko Hoerner.
And they're probably the same age. Like they're the same exact thing.
Yeah.
That's wild.
All right, one of my guys I'm going to show here again. This one here is going to be Brenton Doyle.
Oh, there we go.
The Colorado Rockies. He's a guy that I thought, we saw again last year coming out party, had a huge 2023, sold 22 bags and only like 400 plate appearances. He's been really good again this year so far. He's got a good power speed combo. He plays in Colorado, which, give me half your games when you're hitting in Coors Field. This guy really has a ton of value in more of your deeper leagues where it's like we might start 4 or 5 outfielders, or maybe like your 12 or 15 team leagues. He's got a ton of value. Especially more so in OBP than average. He still strikes out a lot, which is kind of concerning. But he's a really good hitter in both, at college and in the minors. He's already got 4 stolen bases, 8 home runs, and 26 runs scored this year so far. And that's in like he plays his games in Colorado, but right now it's only May 15th, and the temperature probably hasn't even surpassed 80 degrees in Denver yet. So it's only going to get better as the season goes on. Those power numbers are going to kind of increase. And I think right now he's a guy that, again, unless you're like some super, super deep dynasty league where you roster like a ton of players, I think he can be had for a pretty cheap option as well. And it could eventually grow into a decent, like at least your third, if even like a third outfielder that you start on like a shell or roster. But I like Brenton Doyle. I like what he's doing there in Colorado, and yeah, especially the speed. Right, I think this is almost like what we wanted. It's like a Nolan Jones light in a sense.
So that's my only concern here. Is Jones should be back soon. It is a back issue. So like back like that, like those things linger, especially if you're struggling because you're just trying to hit the shit out of the ball.
Yeah.
So that's my only concern with Doyle. But again, they're in a position where they're just going to play guys that fit and that are hitting. And if Doyle can do that, and especially because he's young, so like you might just see different, like maybe he plays some games at DH. So as long as he gets the at-bats, totally into Doyle.
Nice. All right, let's go to, it wouldn't be a on-deck circle show without a little bit of homerism here going on. Talk about your guy, Cooper here.
Criswell, man. He is just the most ridiculous pitcher that just the pitching staff in general for the Red Sox, they have done such an amazing job, because that was our biggest, as fans, our biggest critique was they didn't sign Michael Lorenzen or Blake Snell or whoever, or fucking Montgomery was like the big one because he was fucking living here. But Criswell, where the fuck did they find this guy? He Rays, I believe at some point. He's bounced around a little bit, but he's 27. 6'6", 200 pounds. That's a major league pitcher build if I've ever seen one. And he's absolutely been a delight. And you can get him for next to nothing. There is something I have preached since day one. You don't need people that have a bunch of strikeout numbers. It's okay. Just get you some quality innings. And that's exactly what he's done for this Red Sox team. And what he's done for me. And I think I own him in 4 of my 6 leagues. Like, everywhere, just because it's those innings and they're quality innings. Again, he's not going to be like blowing fastballs by you, but how many innings does he have here? 25 innings pitched with a not sub 2, a 2.1 ERA, a 1.01 whip. It's just like the perfect, I don't want to say like palate cleanser, but like if you pair him with like a Hunter Green, like someone that's kind of like erratic, it's the perfect offset. So he's been someone that I got on waivers in my 24 team league, and I was just like, oh shit, just because like I was watching spring training games, I was like, oh, this guy's good. He didn't even make the fucking team. He was sent to the minors, and then a couple guys got hurt, and now he's showing out. And he's, again, you can get him for probably like a
cheap.
Maybe like a 3rd round first year player draft pick, like crazy.
Right. Yeah, and the format, the landscape of the league right now, where there's just pitcher injury after pitcher injury after pitcher injury, you need that pitching depth, and Criswell offers that. Yeah. And he added a changeup to his repertoire starting last year, and he's been throwing it a ton, and it's actually been his best pitch by far. And right now, just based on the stuff plus, you know what I mean, similar to velocity and movement of his pitches, Criswell, best comps are Corey Kluber, Carlos Carrasco, and Zach Eflin. I don't know if those guys are pretty good, but.
And Jason, I was talking to a friend of the show, Bob Osgood, a.k.a. Bob.
Yeah.
And I was watching a Criswell start, and it happened to be against the Giants, and it happened to be against Logan Webb. And I said, he's kind of like Logan Webb. Obviously, he's not. But, like, just like the pitches to weak contact, like, that's what you need. And it's not appointment viewing to see a Criswell start. But like, if I was going to a game and saw he was pitching, I'd be like, all right, it's fine.
Yeah. No, I like it. I like it as one of those like cheaper options that gives you good depth.
Hell yeah.
All right, so we're gonna talk about my pitcher here, and that's another young arm here coming up out of the depths, and that's gonna be Reese Olson of the Tigers. He was getting a little bit of love this offseason, especially with a pretty good season last year in 2023. This year in 2024, so far, it's up to a really good start. He's already made 8 starts. His whip's under 1. His ERA is basically almost a splitting image of Criswell that we just talked about, except his velocity is not quite as low as Cooper, but he too added a new pitch that he started throwing, with a lot more efficiency lately, and that's also the changeup. The changeup has also been, I think, one of those pitches that like most teams have been telling their pitchers to like learn and use, because it's just like everyone throws these high velocities, and pitchers are hitters are adjusting to all this high end velocity. So best way to battle the high velocity is throw a nice changeup. So I think a lot of teams have been telling pitchers to do that, but he's also always had the changeup, but it's been one of his better pitches as of late. He currently has, like I said, 2 ERA, and even his xERA is just north of 3. So even when you look at those kind of like outlying stats and like the expected stats, I'll take a 3 ERA from my starting pitcher. Yeah, he induces a ton of ground balls. He's got a really good whiff rate and chase rate. However, you would think with those whiff rates and the chase rates that the Ks would be up there, but they're not. He's just under a K per 9, 1K per 9. It's like at basically 8 Ks per 9. The CSW is really good too, so I don't know where he's just not getting that out pitch, I guess, because he's getting a ton of whiffs and ton of swinging strikes, but just can't get the Ks. But I think, it's still only, I think 24. Yeah, 24 years old. A lot of times the pitchers don't really start excelling until they get into that late 20s, early 30 range. Mm-hmm. So I think the arrow's pointing up for Reese Olson, and I think if you can still get him kind of cheap right now, however, like I said, I will say he's been performing really well lately. However, if you play in leagues that have wins, he currently does not have any wins on the season. That's because he plays for Dave Eddy's shitty Tigers.
They need to be better soon. Like there's not enough people are talking about how the Tigers aren't good yet.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, but if you play in quality start leagues, he's obviously should be on your radar for sure, especially for a young arm and one that doesn't throw. Right now, also I think a lot of times fantasy owners need we almost need to start trending away from the fireballers. Right? We've seen these high end velocity guys go down year after year after year after year. So maybe it's time we start focusing back on these soft tossers that throw a good changeup or a good slider or something like that avoid the high end velocity.
Love that.
All right, let's go over to now our prospect section of the show. Keep going in order with your guy. Talk a little bit about Niko.
So Niko is actually a first baseman, Mr. Jason.
Oh,
it's just a starting pitcher on the ticker. But anyway,
I don't think I changed it correctly.
My guy Niko, he's beefy, man. 6'1", 235 pounds, and he's exactly what you want. He's like a Dan Vogelbach. He's not gonna play every day, most likely, but he hits absolute tanks. He is what he bats, which is a tank. So currently he has nine homers. He's batting 310 with an OBP over 450. His OPS over 1,000.124, however the fuck you say it. So my big thing here is his average. They drafted him in 2021 out of Notre Dame, which was a big, he was a good player at Notre Dame. It was someone that I've seen highlights of mostly just because he's a big boy hitting homers. Mm-hmm. But he's hitting for average this year so far, and that's what's really surprised me. So in 2021, he hit 256. Then last year, he batted 206. And now he's at 310. So that seems to be that's what's really sticking out to me. I'm definitely interested in seeing him maybe in the next couple of weeks coming up, especially with Cassis being out a few more weeks, ideally a few more weeks. For me as a Red Sox fan, I hope I never see Niko. But he is a good value, and he's probably on waiver wires. I kind of reached here just because I wanted to talk about Niko because he's been a beast this season. But yeah, so just someone that's probably on your waiver wire, depending on how deep your leagues are. He is rostered in 30 Rock, but just a random fun name that I'm into currently. A 354 fucking OBP is wild, even if it is AAA, which is slightly kind of shitty compared to AA. But I'm definitely into him at the cost, but not gonna win your league. Just someone to have a fun little time.
Hey, I can always count on you for dropping some Boston Red Sox prospect knowledge.
Sure.
You know what we need to do is we need to have. I'll just sit off to the side, and we'll bring Bob Osgood on, and we'll just have this big, huge Boston Red Sox farm system review. I think that's a great idea for one of our shows coming up.
I mean, we can. I know the guy on Sox prospects.
We'll bring them all on. We'll just have a big old.
We'll have Devereaux on. We'll bring
big old Sox.
Just Sox talk.
CJ.
Yeah, I'm in.
All right, we're gonna go over to my guy now. Did you get the acronym? Took a minute to figure out what CJ.
Nope.
All right, we'll keep it PG and go on to the next guy here. The guy I want to talk about is Cooper Pratt, shortstop for the Milwaukee Brewers. I've been drinking this Pratt Kool-Aid since he was drafted this past summer in the 2023 draft. And he wasn't one of those sexy top of the draft names. He was drafted in the 6th round. However, don't let that draft position fool you because the Brewers, they saw what they liked, and they actually signed him way above the slot at that 6th round. The money they gave him is actually equivalent to like a late 1st, early 2nd draft slot.
Dude, that is such a great thing to look at.
I know.
I know it, like everyone does it, but like
Right.
looking at those the fucking money means so much.
It's crazy. Like I don't. The MLB draft is always so confusing on all the different rules and all the different draft slots like that. So I don't. It's hard to kind of keep track of all that stuff. But it's crazy to me. Like, why doesn't another team? Obviously, team at that point, a lot of baseball prospects are all subjective. It's all about like team fit and team need and how they, value a player. But it's crazy that a guy like Pratt or something like that can fall to the 6th round, and then the Brewers are like, well, we'll just sign him so he doesn't go to college. We'll give him a ton of money. But anyways, yeah, I brought up Cooper Pratt in our show last offseason when we reviewed the draft with Chris Blessing. Yep. I've been he's still only 19. He was a high school back coming up, but he's got a really good hit tool. Could really mature as he gets older and gets bigger and builds out that frame. I think he's got can end up getting some decent pop. That 20 to 25 home run range. Right now, he's last year he had an 870 OPS in the complex league and only 45 at bats. This year they didn't even put him back in the complex league; they just boosted him right up into the to low A. He has missed some time this year with some injuries, but hasn't really slowed him down too much. So far, he's already got 7 stolen bases and he's got a 121 WRC plus. Really good hit tool. Again, he's only a 19-year-old, turned 20 this year, so got a lot of development to go on him. But I think I at least put some feelers on. He may not have even been drafted in your first-year player draft this last offseason. Check your waivers on some of the shallower Dynasty leagues. And if not, put some feelers out to the guy that owns him. Again, he may hold on to him a little bit tight because he may have drafted him just this offseason. Sometimes people like to hold on to those recent draft picks. But I think you can see him start shooting up some of these prospect rankings as he matures a little bit more in the next couple of years.
I like that one. Thank you for that, Jason.
Yeah, no problem.
Learn something when you talk prospects.
All right, man. Let's wouldn't be a trade target show if we didn't at least give our audience one sell here. You've given your sells first, so I'm going to go on a little bit of a I'll debut my sell first.
Okay, great.
My sell is going to be Jose Ramirez of the Cleveland Guardians.
Whoa.
Right. He's still producing at a pretty high level. But I think we might be into the point now where you might want to start looking to sell him just off of basically his name recognition and a little bit of his production so far this year. But again, his hard hit rate is way down early on in the year. His OBP is actually right now below 300, which that's one of the things you used to always count on him, right? He doesn't strike out a ton. He walks a good chunk. However, he's walking way less so far this year. He's still not striking out, but just not walking a lot this year. So obviously the OBP has fallen below 300. The barrel rate is way down this year. His X slug is only 396. So while he does have those 9 home runs, the doubles aren't there quite yet. It's Cleveland. It's early in the year. It's been cold out. A lot of that could be changing. But if I'm going to sell high on somebody, it's going to be J-Ram right now for me.
Yeah, I think he's someone that you don't realize he has a good year until the end of the year too. So like, it's one of those players that you're just like, all right, he's like, but then you look up and he has fucking 30 homers and 30 stolen bases. But I am totally with you. I'm such a fan of trading people a year early than a year late. Like if he's fine, especially in a dynasty league, because like the return on investment can be such a different thing, like a completely different beast. If you trade him now, you're gonna miss some of the production. But if you can replace that production and then some, and then next year he takes the dip. So I'm totally with you there. That's a good
point. It's not an exact comparison, but like you think about like people that sold Jose Abreu like a year or two ago, right?
Yes.
They gave up 1 or 2 years of production. The guy's middling in the backfields of Houston right now. Minor league system because he can't even hit a $190. So it's always better to sell a year early. Yeah, you might miss out on a year or 2 of production, but you're gonna if you can replace that with like 5 to 10 years of production from another player, you got to do that. You got to make that move. So sell him now while you can. At least it's a very much of a sell high on Jose Ramirez.
For sure. All right.
I was talking about your guy here.
So I need to. This isn't like selling because I don't think the player is good. I think Ranger Suarez is a good pitcher, good fantasy pitcher. However, what he's doing right now, is not who Ranger Suarez is in my just like eye test of everything. So he's currently 7-0, which is crazy. He's a leading Cy Young candidate. Imagine if you had that ticket on a fucking sports book. His ERA is 1.50, 55 strikeouts, a sub-1 whip. Amazing stats. Love them. Really do. Would really like if he was on my like season-long team. However, it was last year we had an ERA over 4, and that's just I think he's just like a 3.54 ERA guy, and I really wish I could pull up his Savant page, and you don't do it because it looks beautiful.
I was going to say I can pull it up right now if you want me to.
Do not pull that up, Jim. Do not. Except I'll point out the only blue thing is his fastball velocity, which is fine. But even like his expected ERA is 2.21. Like that's bananas. And it's just like all of the numbers are saying he's this good, but I'm just being like the old man saying, no, Ranger Suarez is not this good. He's fine, but he's not. He shouldn't be carrying you in any league, but that's what he's doing currently. So I think he'd be able to get maybe like a struggling pitcher has like a higher pedigree that you believe in, or like a bat and like a Cooper Criswell, like get a high end bat with a middling, like a decent arm. And that could be something that I would do. But again, not saying he's a bad player. And this is very different than your J Ram one, because you're not saying he's a bad player either, but you're just saying like, let's just get out of it before he starts to do poorly. This is more of just like, I don't think this is it. This isn't the player yet.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, that's going to wraps up the trade targets and sell thing. But before we get out of here, we got one of our favorite segments of the show.
There we go.
You know,
stop betting on the Red Sox.
I was going to say, man, I got to stop betting on your Boston Red Sox. So, that's what I'm going to exactly do. I'm going to fade the Boston Red Sox. And my pick tonight is Taj Bradley, 6+ Ks.
Oh, easy.
Boston is third in the league in strikeout percentage. Taj Bradley has that strikeout capabilities. He had 7 strikeouts against the Yankees in his first debut or first outing this year against the Yankees. He had 7 Ks, 6+. I almost wanted to ladder it up to 8 just because how bad Boston's strikeout rate is, but I don't want to get too crazy. But I'm going to go. Maybe what I need to do stop doing too on the bets, the Becks bets, is doing the player props. I think the player props are hurting me.
Okay.
But anyways, I digress. I think 2 of those 3 losses are on player props.
I think you're right.
So maybe I'll stop doing player prop. But anyways, tonight I'm doing another player prop. It's going to be Taj Bradley, 6+ Ks against your Boston Red Sox.
All right. So I had no idea that this guy was still in the league, but my bet tonight is the San Francisco Giants +1.5.
Okay.
-135, which isn't that crazy.
Yep.
They're playing the Dodgers. Do you know who's starting for the Dodgers tonight?
Based on your way you phrased it, I don't, but my guess would be James Paxton.
Alessier Hernandez.
Oh my God.
Yeah, right? Didn't know he was on the Dodgers, didn't know he was playing. So, and he's against Logan Webb. Give me Logan Webb any day. I don't care about the Dodgers. I understand the Dodgers have a great lineup. Logan Webb is a great pitcher. So just value-wise, it seems like I'm getting a 1.5. And I don't think Logan Webb's going to give up more than like 3 runs, maybe. Like tops. And I think Hernandez could easily give up 3 in 1 inning. So that's kind of the rationale there. Had no idea he was still in the league.
Nice. I like it. Yeah. I'm all about rooting against the Dodgers, so I'll ride that.
Fuck the Dodgers.
All right, Nick. We got one last thing to say before you get out of here. Maybe like go C's or something.
Go C's, kid. Let's go.